This is going to be a really hard video for me to create, and it's not one I've wanted to produce for a number of months now, but it's gotten so out of control that I have to speak up for my sake, my team's sake, and the sake of independent websites that use Google as their primary source of traffic. Some of you may have been wondering where I have been over the last 9 months, and most importantly and most excitingly, I have become a father. So I'm learning how to do that, supporting my son and my partner over the last few months, and just learning how to handle this little sack of spuds, which has been very, very fun and enjoyable, and also challenging at the same time. But also, around about 8 or 9 months ago, Google shaked up their algorithms to a point that independent sites like Retro Dodo have now become pretty much invisible within their search engine. And it's killing us. We are on the edge of going extinct. Funny that, because we've named ourselves after an extinct bird. But also a number or thousands upon thousands of independent websites are being buried because of Google and their recent changes. So how we operated as a business, we've been going for 5 years now. We had a focus on video at the start. Some of you may have been subscribed here for a very long time. And then we started wanting to get, or to find a place that reviews retro gaming products and features retro gaming news, and there was no real outlet for that we enjoyed going to. So we built it. We started writing about retro gaming products, building news, doing videos. Heck, we even collaborated with some very popular YouTubers over the time. We've made a coffee table book, and our second's coming in a few months. We built a full-on brand. And the way people searched us or found us was primarily through Google. You type in something and you would have our expert opinions on it, and we would have crafted a really nice website for you to read that on, and that's kind of where our business was, on Google. But now we have lost 90% of our traffic over 7 months because Google's changed the way their algorithm works. And there's a number of reasons, and it all comes down to Google becoming a very unfair and biased place, and they are really removing the freedom of creating content that can be seen unbiasedly, even if that's a word. And what's happening is that it's basically becoming a search engine that's pay to win. One of the biggest changes that we've seen over the last 7 months is that Reddit is now taking up most of the search results. Reddit has now moved to the top of most. If you ever type in something gaming related, tech related, travel related, you will get a response or a result from Reddit within the top 3. I'm not saying Reddit is a terrible place, not at all. You can get some quite good personal feedback there. But if you want expert advice on products or information from professionals that have studied this topic or this niche for many years, then you'll likely want to hear from websites and brands that you trust. But Reddit is now becoming a dominant place for Google to put in their search results. And it all comes down to Google paying Reddit $60 million a year so that they have permission to crawl Reddit's website to train Google's AI. And this is what it all comes back to, is the ever-growing force of AI removing anything human and creative in pursuit for revenue and just money. And Google's really monopolizing on that. One of the things that it's coming out and quite aggressively is something called SGE, Search Generative Experience, which is Google's 100% AI answer. And you may have seen it over the last couple of years. Whenever you type something in, Google likes to answer it for you before showing you any results from brands or independent websites that you may like to see or trust. And this is where Google is moving to. It's answering things for you based on AI, and the AI has been trained on content like ours, content from independent websites, and just general content across the ecosystem of the internet. And Google will push our site's down because we have unhelpful content, is what they say. They don't think it's helpful. They don't think it's interesting to the readers, but they will happily pull our work, which we have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on. We have paid journalists six figures over the last few years to work with us and to create content that people read. And Google is now using that for their own financial gain, to answer all of the queries for you without having to go to websites like us. So it's a double-edged sword. Google say that our content isn't helpful enough, so push us down, but will happily use it to answer it on their own search results. So there's many things like this going on. Once you get past Google's automated answer, you've got past Reddit, you will also see sponsors and advertisers get an unfair advantage in the search results. This can be from everything from buyer's intent to just media companies that spend with them in terms of advertising. And if you type in anything, type in best home arcade cabinets, for example, or anything that's got best in front of it, you'll usually get a bunch of ads or sponsored slots, and then Reddit, and then you get Google's own answer. So you can see the independent websites are getting pushed further and further down. And we've seen this quite aggressively over the last 2 years, that, you know, if a user wants to search anything, Google will just put up a shopping tab or a sponsored tab, something where Google will generate money from, because they're not going to generate money from people like me that are reviewing these products and testing them and building a nice website for you to read. Google's not making any money with us. They might make a more pleasant search experience, but they're not making any money, so their priorities shift to generate revenue. And while on the subject of revenue, it's apparent that Google are also paying certain media companies tens of thousands of dollars a year to use their AI, to use Google's AI to push out news posts daily, which totally goes against their guidelines. They've been telling us creatives to create user-first friendly content, not written by AI, written by human experts, but then on the other hand are creating an AI-generated search engine and are paying large media companies to use their AI to produce helpful content. And there was a great study that came out by Detailed.com, who actually studied and found out that there are 16 media companies that basically own the search results within Google. These 16 media companies own a wide amass of brands and websites that use a ton of different SEO strategies that may not be friendly. For example, one I think they call swarming, where, for example, let's take Forbes. Forbes is a very large website that is in multiple niches, even though they have no expertise there. And what they'll do is they'll just create a ton of content on, let's say, retro gaming, and because they're such a large authoritative site, they will outrank us for everything. And that's without them even touching any retro gaming products. They'll create best lists with generic stock photos. They'll just take out descriptions, but they also go one step further and completely rip away from independent websites content and reword stuff and scrape stuff and copy, and they can absolutely push us out from the search results because they are a more reputable brand in Google's opinion, even if the content isn't actually better, even if they've bent the guidelines that Google has informed the smaller sites about. So we're seeing basically independent websites and RetroDodo.com being completely removed from the search results because of a bias for revenue. This is from what I'm seeing. And the issue is that, yes, our website might not be the best SEO friendly website out there. I've got so many plates to spin as I don't even know what you call me, someone that wants to build a media brand. I have to do SEO, web design, graphics design. I have to learn how to operate the camera, video edit. I have to do so much. I have to manage my team. I can't be the best SEO in the business to keep my website afloat. And I think this is what a lot of people like me who own brands and small independent websites are really struggling with. So we're actually on the brink of having to stop producing content from our website. We just don't make any money anymore. And the gaming industry has the lowest ad rates possible. So we actually need traffic to generate any kind of revenue. There's a lot of opinions I have about it. I generally think Google is becoming an unfair place, and they're not giving any spotlight or a voice to those that are actually creating better and fun, enjoyable websites with genuinely experienced and human written content. They are having a bias towards those that want to spend money, and they have a bias to please their shareholders, which means websites like us won't be around for much longer. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you do like what we produce here, let me know on what we can do to make it a better place for you. Whatever that may be, is there subjects that you want us to get into? Should we make our website more fluid? If you have enjoyed our content over the time, there is new ways to support us, and we do now have a Patreon. I think that is the only way for independent publications to stay alive. And I've been doing this for 5 years. I've seen different things come in with SEO and Google algorithm changes, but this has been the most aggressive, to a point where it's almost game over for us. And I think where small independent websites are going to move to is asking for support from their community, using memberships as a place to get early access, to get exclusive content. We're going to have to start producing products now. There is a product that I have been working on and wanting to produce for some time now. I can show you it on the screen right now. I want to make premium retro gaming products and display cases for your games consoles and cartridges. So that's something that we're gonna look into as well. I also want to produce a new video series on YouTube called The Retro Show, a show where we go around the UK and Europe and maybe even the world to just check out really unique collections and game stores, to see what they have, to find rare items, and to just have a bit of fun and go into these really secret locations that maybe not a lot of you know of. So I think where independent websites like us, the only chance of survival is community support and moving into different avenues away from ad revenue. We can no longer rely on that. It's absolutely crazy. Yes, we made a book, but we get very little commission from that. You know, it's not reliable at all. It comes in peaks and troughs, and you know, book publication isn't a profitable place anyway, as many of you know, but it's something that we wanted to produce for our community, and we got into that. So you're going to see a lot of different changes at Retro Dodo. We have unfortunately have to shrink the team, and it's just a really sad time for us, because the way this Google impact is affecting independent websites, but it's also affecting the people that build and keep those independent websites fresh. For example, journalists, web designers, graphic designers, podcast hosts, video editors. They are the ones that keep our websites afloat, and if we can't afford to keep them, then unfortunately, like, what can I do? I have a child. I have to put food on my family's table, and it's just, we're getting it from all angles, because I would say small. We're competing with the crappy, scrapey AI contents that just post and take full advantage of Google. They call this black hat SEO, which just use manipulative strategies to outrank sites. So we're getting attacked by this angle, and we're also getting attacked by the large media companies that just have domain authority. They have cash to throw at a team, and they're just copying every strategy we do, down to products, down to the topics we cover, down to video. And it's just really, really difficult is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, we're just not having a fun time right now. We've gone from 6 people now, down to 2. We've dropped 90% in revenue. We have to start looking at other avenues which we haven't stepped in. So what I'm trying to say is that there's going to be a lot of changes around here. There will still be YouTube videos. We might relaunch the podcast. And I think what we're going to start doing is creating content just that we want to build, that we want to read, that we want to consume. So very audience first publishing is where we're going to move to. We can no longer sustain ourselves from Google, and it's going to be a really rough couple of years for us, which has come at a really bad time with my child and stuff, as it's quite stressful. And now we have to shrink the team and really go back into the trenches to survive. We're no longer going to be thriving off this. So if you do enjoy our content, we now have a Patreon. I will be doing lots of work over there. You'll be getting a welcome kit for anyone that subscribes to the premium tier. This welcome kit will have goodies. It will have stickers, a letter from me, and an invite to our yearly meetup here in the UK, which I really want to do. I feel like getting in the patrons into a barcade or something where we can all have some grub, play on arcades, check out some new retro gaming products, a couple of drinks, etc. I think that will be really cool. So I think the future of Retro Dodo is going to become a little bit more audience first led and helping the community where we can with products, advice, news and stuff, and also doing events, products, memberships and stuff like that. So I can imagine you will see this quite a lot over the next 5 to 10 years within the gaming industry as a whole. The sites that you enjoy, the brands that you follow, the independent projects that you enjoy, it's time to support those before they actually go extinct, because it's horrible out here and it's not looking good for those that are running independent brands from their home. This has never made a lot of money, but it's something I'm passionate about and want to continue. But Google is making that very, very hard right now. So I just wanted to inform you all about that and give you an overall update with the state of Retro Dodo, because being fully transparent, it's not looking good. Thank you to all of you that have supported us over the years. It really does mean a lot. You've given me a great few years of building a brand that I absolutely love and working with incredible journalists and video editors and individuals in the space. You've really given me a incredible few years in terms of a career. So for that, I cannot thank you enough. And I would love to continue that. But I might just need your help, in all honesty, which is quite hard for me to ask for help. I don't think I've ever done that here on the channel, apart from snagging the book and stuff. But that's currently where we're at, and I'll end the video there. Thanks, guys.